Hey guys, welcome in. So we're on the scroll saw. We're cutting out Turkish spindles again. We're doing cutouts, so we're going to be cutting out a bunch of little critters on the inside. And my monitor says that nobody's in here, so let me refresh this page here. All right, that's a little bit better. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. All right. So we are cutting 5/8 inch cherry today. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. A little bit easier. Hey Christian, Moxie, is that a bandsaw? No, this is a scroll saw. Scroll saws are reciprocating, so the blade goes up and down. You could cut yourself with them, but it's going to be a Band-Aid cut. It's not going to be something you're going to have to worry about cutting your fingers off or anything. So, you know, you'd have to put a Band-Aid on it. This is an itty bitty blade. So I use blue painter's tape to affix the pattern, so when I'm done I can just peel the tape off. These are some shafts that I turned on the lathe earlier today. So that's ready for sanding and balancing. We've got like 18 of these to cut out. There's like 6 sheep, 6 butterflies, and then 6 kitty cats, so. What materials can it cut? It's primarily for wood, but you can cut, you know, some, you can cut like brass and copper, you know, plastics, coins. Hello, Anderson. So, you know, you can cut up to like, you know, I think it's like 2 inches is the max depth, but you would never cut that thick. So mainly it's, you know, for me, 1.5 inches or less. You subscribed? Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you much. So the cool thing about the scroll saw is you can make internal cuts in wood. So you could drill a hole and then put the blade through and then clamp it. You couldn't do that with a bandsaw. So. There we go. And that one's ready to be balanced and sanded. And this is 5/8 inch thick cherry. Thank you. Do I ever make Christmas ornaments? I do. Yep. You absolutely can. So yeah, so I already cut out, this shape out. So I'm using a number 5 blade. I cut the outsides with the number 7. But I get a little bit more detail out of the 5 blade than I would the 7. So. Do I wear goggles when I do that? I'm wearing safety glasses, yes. Side shields. So what I'm making are Turkish drop spindles that you use to spin yarn. So this is what one looks like when it's done. Granted, it's not sanded or finished yet, but yeah. So, yep. So this does the same thing a spinning wheel does. Hey Carlos, how's it going? So yeah, this is actually a wholesale order, so that's why there's so many of the same thing over and over again. All right, let's do some kitty cats. So with the cats, I don't follow the pattern around that bottom leg there. I make it a little bit, the legs a little bit thinner, so I have a bigger piece of wood in that spot. Just so you know. All right. Ooh. I was delivered candy. Energy bar.
Protein meal bar.
Protein meal bar. All the look of a delicious candy bar with none of the flavor. That's not bad. Right. Yep. So this is my day job. Most of the time, when I'm live streaming, I'm doing work. I do have a lot of beginner scroll saw videos how to use this saw, and we're kind of focusing on scroll saw projects right now. But might eventually I want to get into doing some laser engraving, some 3D printing kind of stuff. We'll see. I'm going to come up a little bit short. Yeah. And there we go. So what do I do with the part that comes out? That it's waste. It goes in my fireplace. It already has a hole in it. Be ideal thing for paint stamping in the center of your wood carvings. Yeah, I can make. Right now we have a hole in it and it goes around the outside. I have made like the sheep. I've made the little sheep already to give away. But yeah, you could use it like a pouncer. So I'm in Wisconsin, so we do have winters here, so I save all my little scrap, and it's used for kindling in the wintertime. That's true. Oh, yeah. That would explain the accent. Yeah, my girlfriend talked me into taking a walk with her this morning. Looks nice. It's nice and sunny out, but it was like 35 degrees out. Like, man, it's freaking cold. So if you're new to the stream, obviously my name is Scott, hence the Making It with Scott name. I'm a woodworker from Wisconsin. My day job, I'm a spindle maker, so this is what I do for a living. And then this channel, we do a lot of introductory, beginner scroll saw stuff right now. So. Yeah, I am self-employed. I've been, this is our 11th year. I spent almost 20 years, I think it was like 18 years working in factories, so this is a little bit better. Give me a second to finish up this cutting. All right. You have some antique woodworking tools. Would you be interested in them? Actually, I don't have a lot of space for stuff, so thank you for the offer, but I think I'm good. What type of work did I do when I worked in the factory? I was at Quad Graphics in the finishing department for almost 13 years. So I put magazines together, and then I went to Oshkosh Truck for 6. So I ran a machine, and then I worked on an assembly line. Hey, how's it going? Fun first family? What are those for? Are they part of something bigger? These are Turkish spindles. They are used for spinning yarn. So this is what came before the spinning wheel. You teach crochet. You used to teach crochet on YouTube, and then the trends changed, and my crochet business failed. Yeah, the fiber arts thing is kind of hit and miss, and yeah, it's definitely like the tide rising and falling all the time. Nice. It even works better when you tension. Hey, sister maid, how you doing today? So yeah, this year I plan on doing a bunch of Easter and Christmas type things to sell at shows. I haven't done a normal craft show in a long time. So we kind of got to see what the economy will bear right now. Right now, the spindles are doing good, but I think I might need something to have a backup plan. Let's see. Oh, awesome. Can you show how the spindles work and relate to spinning? Absolutely. I'll go grab some fiber. I used to have people send me things for demonstrations, but I don't have that kind of a channel anymore. Right. Make it look easy. I'm positive it's not. It takes some practice. Let me grab some wool. All right. All right. So this is wool top. You can call it roving if you want to. So sheep got a haircut. Then they picked out all the nasty bits, and then they gently washed it, and then they carded it so all the hairs are in the same direction. So they like combed it so all the hairs are in the same direction. Here's another Turkish spindle that I have been spinning on. Some giggles gonna be gone to like $8. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to spin the spindle. Now with my hands, I'm drafting. So I'm just defining the thickness of the yarn and how much twist is going into the yarn. So I'm doing a short draw, so I'm doing a worsted yarn. All right, so you spin a length, and then you use the spindle for storage. So the cool thing about the Turkish spindles, when we're done, we could pull the shaft out, the arms come apart, and then have a center pull ball ready for plying. So, spin the spindle. So if it happens to break off, you just lay the fiber right over top. If you look at the fiber, this is wool, if you look at it under a microscope, it has a bunch of scales on it. So when you twist it together, those scales interlock, and that's what gives yarn its strength. So the single, you might be like, well, that doesn't look too much like yarn. So typically you're going to ply it to make it thicker and stronger. Yeah, this one right here is a full-size glider, is the model number. This one holds about 4 ounces. So I'm just going to make a crochet loop. So I made like a slip knot. We're going to open that up. So now we have 1, 2, 3 plies. Now I'm going to spin it the opposite way. It's probably going to fall on the floor. And there we go. That's a 3-plied yarn. So it's probably right around a DK weight. Yep, this is a 3-ply. That's 3-ply worsted. But yeah, strong, strong, strong. So, yeah, that's what we're making today. Yeah, that's a full-size glider. This one's actually, it's called a Turkish Delight because it has a laser engraving on the top. Here's an example of a mini with the laser engraving on it. This one isn't sanded yet, but you get the idea. Yeah, I got quite a few different sizes. So yeah, these are going to the woolery. Laser engraved. Yeah, so the one with the design on the top, yeah, that's laser engraved. So I actually have a laser that, what type of join do you use relate to anything yarn on? Do you do a Russian join or a knot? Yarn companies tend to use knots. Yeah, they do tend to use knots. It all depends what you're doing. I'll do a lot of spit joins to be to be honest. You know, there's yeah, you buy commercial yarn and it's got knots in it. So sometimes I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just put a knot in it. You knew all this, but you used to watch your grandmother weave. Sweet. Outside of traditional techniques. Very cool. Yep. Yep. Okay, yeah. So, yes. So with this curve, I have a laser that has a probe that goes across and it will map out the dimension, that curve. So when it's laser engraving, thank you. So when it's laser engraving, that let's say this is the laser head that's emitting it, it will follow that diameter to keep the focus. So if you didn't do that, let's say it's in focus up here, down here would be way out of focus. So yeah, so I had to get a laser that I can adjust the focus on it, so. So it's one of those things where it's kind of a pain in the butt to set up. So, you know, you do a batch. You're not going to set it up to do one. And then, yeah, so I made a jig for it, so. I have a jig, and then I have a special one I put down that's bigger than what I actually need, but it has the correct shape, so I can get it to scan a bigger area. Yep. Hello, sorry, I only speak English. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, so after this one, we have one more cat one, and then we got a bunch of butterflies. Do you ever have tiny pieces fall to halfway through the vacuum hoses? Get stuck occasionally. It happens. You know, I'm not running any vacuum right now on this one just because it's too loud. How many spindles can I make a day? It depends on the day and what they are. When we're in show mode working on it, I think my record for a single day is like 50, but yeah. So today we're going to do 18, 19, 20. I'll probably get about 40 done today. I've got quite a bit done already. But I've also been doing this since like 9 o'clock this morning. I did have a bunch of laser engraving to do on the bottom. So Clint says, I am Navajo. Before my grandmother passed away, she would always weave. Very nice. I just remember that she would take the sheep wool and a spindle and then dye it. Exactly. You know, there's a lot of different types of spindles and sizes of spindles. You know, there's actually, you know, a spindle that, you know, is referred to as a Navajo spindle, which is a really big spindle with a big whirl that sits on the ground, and you make really thick yarn with it. But yeah, spinning is just amazing. Is it possible to use a spindle just to make cone related or getting it the yarn out of a skein? You could, but you know, a ball winder or a Nasta pin would be you know, a much more useful thing for that. Yeah, company says with big tangles, yeah. Yarn barf. Oh, I hear ya. I avoided getting that type saw because of the catches it causes. Not sure about that one. Oh, what, the exhaust? Yeah, I don't really run the exhaust too often on these. Oh, you were saying you bought one of those contraptions, right, that you hook up? Is it a Scrollnado? I could be wrong. Yep, so I'm on the Pegasus today. I'm not on the Bauer. Just because I didn't want to move the camera. I've got another one way over there that I usually use for streaming. Alright. Now I was just thinking the spindle would be fun for making the cord because I know I have made cord where I spin it so tight that it doubles over itself and makes a pretty cord. Alright. I'm not going to dissuade you. I don't know if it'd be the most efficient way of doing it, but... Yeah, maybe the vacuum was bigger than the saw that I test drove back then. Woodcraft Store was having a class and allowed us to try different brands. I think it was an Excalibur. The tiny bits got stuck. Okay. So yeah, yesterday I picked up a little 3D printing commission. Somebody needed basically some stitch markers made for them. Normally I don't do a lot of that, but I figured now is a great time to pick up as much extra work as I can find. What other kind of fiber tools do you make? Do you sometimes make things in cycles? Um, most of the times, I make a lot of, Turkish. Turkish are my bread and butter. I do make a lot of top whirls as well. Um, I do make Scottish spindles and Russians. I'll do loose sets. I 3D print some felting tools. I also do 3D printed loose sets as well. That's about it. I'm thinking about making some inkle looms coming up here. Some lazy Kates. That kind of stuff. But yeah, a lot of my time is just Turkish. Oh, we also do like null binding needles. We make those out of exotic woods. And of course, you do stitch markers and I make wraps for inch gauges as well. Yeah. What did you grab? Oh, we got some buttons.
As I listen to, no, not buttons.
Oh.
As I listen to what you're talking about, you can show. If you want to.
Yeah. Thanks. You can come get these. Yeah, so these are the wraps for inch gauges that I make. And some examples of some nail binding needles. We got some maple and some leopard wood ones. Just got a mini Turk here. And then, yeah, these are little sheep stitch markers. Yeah. You suspect that the crochet channels that have all closed down and can't earn revenue anymore, possibly a canary in the coal mine, right? Yeah. Little sheep are adorable. We give these away. Not the stitch markers, but the ones without the rings on. I don't even. Where did I put the bag of sheep? I don't know. They're in the front somewhere. I'm done making sheep, so I closed up the bag. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a big wave. You know, things get popular and then they don't get popular. I always I tell people that. Yeah. Yeah. This is a bag of sheep. So this is probably about a kilo of sheep. That should last us a couple shows.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's a company out of California called Clemis and Clemis. They make drum carters and spinning wheels. They make spindles. They used to make spindles too. And then in the 90s, they stopped making fiber tools and started making skateboards because they couldn't, keep everybody employed making fiber tools. Now they've been making fiber tools again for quite a while, so. Yeah, like this channel here, I'm not focused on fiber arts, other than the live streams, and I'm doing it just to keep my mind off the political political stuff going on right now. So yeah, this channel, I'm, making $1 a day. It's not really about the money, you know. I see there's a new message. Let me get this cut out and then I'll see what's going on. Your original YouTube channel that you started it in 2006, but the revenue went away. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sister Maid. Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely trying not to keep all of our eggs in one basket, that's for sure. But yeah, what we got to show. How long until that show in Madison, honey? Yeah. All right, we got about 2 weeks before the show in Madison, and then Shepherd's Harvest is like 3 weeks after that. 2 weeks after that. All right. So yeah, so we got 2 weeks, then a show, 2 weeks and then a show. So, you know, for the next month, we're going to be busy. So we'll see. Yeah. Well, I put my heart and soul into the YouTube channel, and it was really sad when things didn't work out anymore. I could not find a job and still have not been able to find employment. Oh man, that sucks. What you doing? You making me a calendar?
Yeah.
There's suspicious things going on. There's numbers going on the dry erase board, so. So you got a countdown? There we go. And people started calling, yeah.
There you go. Can you see that from there, or is the
I can. Thank you. Yep, that's fine.
You're gonna be live streaming again eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, so. And I can never remember, they're both Saturday, Sunday shows. I'm like, are they 3-day shows or 2-day shows?
They're both 2-day shows, right?
They're both 2-day shows.
Yeah. So, yeah. So when I'm done here, maybe tomorrow we should look to see what we need. I know that we're gonna need supported spindles. So when I'm done here, I'll probably start
Yeah. and
making some of
Scottish
those.
And
Yeah.
flying, but I think we'll probably have flying.
Well, I've got the plying over there already.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna need cutouts too, because we don't have a lot of those.
Well, lace them out.
Today is
The 7th, 8th.
the 8th.
Today's the 8th. There we go. Yeah, so this Madison show's kind of sneaking up on me. Well, we got hit by like 3 wholesale orders, which is great. I'm not complaining about that.
But yeah.
But it was just, it's always everything at once.
Yep.
Space it out a little bit, guys.
Yeah. And then so then we're chasing our tail going, okay, when are we gonna make stuff for us?
Yeah, I've been very lucky with Snyder Spindles. You know, this job here. Yeah. Yeah, well, I started on Etsy way back in 2000 and not 2008, 2009. Yeah, it has changed a little bit over the years. Yeah, so from 2008 till 2011, I was banished woodworking. I made a lot of wooden toys and wooden signs and then one of my friends asked for a spindle, and I had to make sure it would work, so I learned how to spin, and I fell in love with spinning, and here we are. Some of the folks who are selling things on Amazon said Amazon is passing costs off on them now. They have to pay for damaged goods, which Amazon used to cover and take other fees. I sell less than 10 crochet hooks on crocheted hats on Etsy. Okay. I think they're really elaborate crochet. Well, when they went public, it went from let's make money for the people who are selling things to we need to make money for the shareholders. Well, it's still cheaper than consignment. If you're going to sell on Amazon, they're going to take 50% right off the bat. And then they're going to charge you to store your stuff at their warehouses. I know there's other ways of doing it, but yeah. Yeah, I could sell the crap out of these on Amazon. But the amount of money I would have to pay them, it's just not worth it. Right? The money is always in the supplies. It's not in the final product. But the good thing about Etsy is they do take care of the sales tax for you, so you don't have to worry about that and the VAT and all that stuff. So, right. And I really don't do a ton of wholesaling. We're not taking on new people. That's something where if things start getting tight, maybe we're gonna have to do that. It's just, yeah, I can't give you 50% off. I can't. My prices are too low to do that. So I kept my original wholesaling people, but yeah, I'm just not taking on new people anymore. You know, if you catch me at the right day and you just want a specific thing, maybe. But yeah. Yeah. Yep. 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 Well, when the tax man comes around and asks about, the numbers, you have to have them. So, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I do have a Shopify page as well. I used to be all in on Etsy, like Etsy. But they shut my store down on a Friday for no reason. They suspended my account. Now, I also had Pattern. So, you would go to snyderspindles.com and it would show you what was on my Etsy store, but I had a different layout. Well, it took me about a week to get it turned back on, and they really couldn't tell me why it happened or how it happened. So when that first happened, I got rid of Pattern. I stopped advertising on Etsy. I think I do $1 a day now. I stopped I stopped spending money with Etsy entirely, as far as advertising goes, and then I did add a buck now, a buck a day. But yeah, I mean, that scared the tuchus off me. It was like I didn't do anything wrong, and all of a sudden, boom, I don't have a business anymore. But yeah, I'm still on Etsy. I try to get people in the United States to go to Shopify. They'll save a little money on Shopify. But Etsy does such a good job with international shipping that, yeah, it's just, and the taxes, you're right. Um, yeah, and that's just it. Going to shows there's so much overhead, food, hotels, gas, wear and tear on your vehicle, setup, tear down, all, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're actually trying to get into some of the shows closer to home, even though we're not going to make as much money, but I mean, it's going to be a lot cheaper, and it's not going to take, it's not going to be a week of traveling to get to the show too. Yeah, my girlfriend takes care of the websites. I did the initial setup for Shopify, and then she kind of took over. Facebook is doing the real name thing. Tell you right. Wow. Yeah. Sometimes the settings, yeah. I hear you, Sister May, judging nuts. Oh. So yeah, we just hit 25,000 sales on Etsy. Yeah, if there's no rhyme or reason for it, how are you supposed to combat it? How are you supposed to fix it if they won't tell you what's wrong? I hear you. um, and that doesn't include Shopify or the wholesaling or the shows or any of that stuff too. Yeah. So, talking about markets, anything like that, never sold enough. Buy. They're charging like $75 a day. Yeah, some of these big fiber shows, I'm almost embarrassed to say how much I'm spending a day. But I also need 2 booths. Wisconsin Sheep and Wool is the only festival we have that is 1 booth. Just because we have a really good spot. Yeah, every other one I have 2 booths. So I've got, a 10 by 20 foot display. And there's 2 of us doing this all full time. Vicky's currently working on taxes right now, so she better be working on taxes. She's in there playing video games and be very disappointed. You had to think really hard about the Chicago show for the first time because of the booth fee, but yeah. Yeah, when you start spending, 700, 800, whatever, for a weekend, it gets kind of You have to sell a bunch of stuff. All right. I think I'm done on the scroll saw. So I'm gonna jump over on the lathe. I need to move these. I am gonna take like a 5-minute break. Need to use the restroom and get something to drink. So I will be right back, guys. I wasn't planning on finishing these today, so I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me for that. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right. Let's move the camera over. So, yeah, so that's my setup for the lathe. Come on, zoom out. There we go. All right, give me 1 minute. We missed another rebate? Stupid Menards. Oh, man. I like that cord. That looks nice. I'll try that. hate when that happens. I was gonna be a good boy. Right? You guys running amok. I figured you guys would talk amongst yourselves. It's amazing what you'll do when you gotta pee. Alright. That's very true. So this is what we're making. We're making this Russian spindle. You're probably pretty close, Bruce. Yes. All right. I think we're ready. Let's make a mess. Alright, let's back up the tailstock, see how it's looking. We got a ways to go yet. So this is hard maple. I'm not the master of the skew, though. I'm all right with it. We are getting there, though. I'm gonna burn a line in. Yes, we're on the wood lathe now, yep. So we'll check the template out here. Looking good. So while we still have a little bit of meat on there, we're gonna start sanding it down. Yeah, I actually finished up my spindles for today.
Hey!
The Turkish, at least. Right, then we're gonna burnish. Alright, so this section here is done. I'm going to cut off the top. We're going to flip it around and we're going to work on the tip. You use craft papers for bushings now. Have you ever tried that? I have not. You know, I use like paper bags to buff like things that I put glaze on. So I made this 3D printed collet. Yeah, grocery bags work great. So I'm going to put an oil finish on this as well. There we go. So this one is cherry. So to put this cove in, I actually use carbide. I don't use a ton of carbide, but for this, it's just easier. So I'm not shooting for the final dimension here. I'm just getting it about halfway to where I need it. Yeah, I don't get any magazines either. The only magazine I get is Spin Off, which is a spinning magazine. And that's because it's complimentary because I advertise with them occasionally. Or if you're in an issue, if they feature one of your products, they'll send you a copy. Bizarre. That wasn't even intentional. All right, this one's hard maple. Last one was really quick because it was cherry. Cherry's a lot softer. I've never been to the West Coast. I think the furthest west I've ever been is Dallas, Texas. Well, I've seen the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic quite a few times. works better when it stains it. That's my helpful tip for the day. I think it feels a lot like Katy Perry. It's hot, then it's cold. I have not. Yeah, these are running really nice. So I'm going to take a peek, see how it's running. Looks good. So I do that so if it is messed up, I can stop now. So I don't waste all the time making it and then have it not be balanced. Have some vibration in it. So when I started making spindles, I was very, very lucky that the wool gatherers, it was a store in my town, and they were mainly weavers, but they were a fountain of information. They took me under their wing. Hans and Sarah were amazing. Hans just passed, I don't know, less than a year ago, so. Well, I have to check for balance when it's done too, but since I have it clamped in there, I can back it off and look. You know, if there's vibration down here, I can stop right there. Yeah, because you know, this still might not be balanced when it's done, but it's a good indication right now. Yeah, he was German. Their last name was Van Tresco. Well, if they're a dreidel, they'd be squared. I should make a dreidel spindle. I could make it out of clay. No, I should make a wooden dreidel spindle. That'd be amazing. As long as they turn out, right? I think I'm going to start saving the ones that are not balanced and then making a spindle cade out of them. Could be, rabbit. Could be. Oh, that was smart. I just licked my fingers and they're all freaking full of sawdust. It is not the flavor sensation that's going across the nation. Right? Yeah, we had quills for quite a while. You know, I could spin yarn off the lathe right now, off the quill. I'm not going to. That's very true. Yeah, I've got some bobbins I need to make for some spinning wheels I'm trying to flip. Just trying to find time to do it. It's not going to be this month. So I've got like 4 Frank Frell wheels, Mayville wheels. Have you ever made wooden knitting needles? I have not. Yeah, I used to make crochet hooks. I gotta redo the tip. It's balanced. It's just a little more wandering than I need. Yes. Yeah, I designed that. There we go. Very nice. Yeah, it's basically a collet, and it's made out of flexible filament. And that's just it. It's a deep rabbit hole, and it gets kind of pricey. So yeah, I just designed it to fit in the chuck, in the square part of the chuck, and squeeze down. For me, it's just easier to switch back and forth because I prefer just to, you know, clamp it up in the chuck. There you go. Yeah, you can make, you know, I 3D printed this little center finder. Like I really need another center finder. I got a couple more laying around here somewhere. It depends on what you're looking for. You know, there's small, decent printers for under $300. Oh, actually, let's check on the 3D printers. Let's see how we're doing. We are making dragons right now. So we have another hour and 20 minutes on this guy. Yeah, I went from working out of a bedroom, and then I had a little 10 by 10 shed outside. Now I'm in a 2,000 foot, commercial building. So these are the ones we're printing out now. So they're dichromatic filament. So half the filament is one color, the other half is a different color. So you got this kind of raspberry color, and then the other side it's blue. And since they print coiled, so they print coiled up to fit on the bed, so the color will change along the body. You got a pet lizard named Jorge. You got a lizard named George. That's awesome. So far, not good enough. Yeah. So we got this Ender 3 here. it works. It's a V2. Yeah, so yeah, it's like a silk filament, so it's shiny. This one's like silver and then gold. Yeah, they're all blue and green. Yeah. These are X1 carbons, so they can do multiple color prints. You can do 4 different colors on this one right now. We got another one here. So the A1 Mini, this one here is I think $280 right now, somewhere in that region. It's got a smaller bed, but it prints really nice. And then this guy here was like $200 like 6 years ago. And it just refuses to die, so. I use the older printers to print out all those sheep. Well, the problem is if you were going to make crochet hooks, you'd probably want to get a resin printer, because the filament-based printers like I have over here, they're not going to be the strongest. I used to have iguanas. Yeah, so that's the back room of the shop. With the resin printer, you can get very, very smooth, strong prints. You like chameleons? Oh, cool. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I started up the YouTube channel, because I have room now. Hey, Drunk Mouse, how's it going? Welcome in. I don't do it all, but I try to do a bunch. Yeah, and what other types of 3D printing things do I make? I make like loose sets and nitty knotties and tools, felting tools, and I don't know, a bunch of toys. Oh man, COVID sucks. I hope you feel better, man. Trying to think. I make a lot of stitch markers, and yeah. So today we're working on supported spindles. So when we're done, it's going to look like this. Or we could use it as a magic wand. Leviosa. You didn't get vaccinated? I did it several times. And I still got COVID twice. I don't remember Magic Jack. Is that called a clapper? Ooh. Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. What kind of 3D printers do I have? Currently, I have one King Rune. It's K3PS. It's a very tiny printer. Then I got an Ender 3 V2S1, a Bamboo Lab A1 Mini, and two X1 Carbons by Bamboo. With the AMS light, nice. Yeah, the X1 Carbons I've got the AMSs for. My A1 Mini I do not. I'm holding out for a few months before I get the new one, the H1C. It's big enough where I can make 2-yard nitty knotties, which I would like to do. So. Yeah, I'm diabetic, so I tend to get vaccinated because, yeah, I'm already compromised. You got an enclosure for it? Yeah. Yeah. So the new AMS is supposed to work with the A1. Nope, I don't have any liquid ones. All the ones I don't have a resin printer. All the ones I have are FDM, so they're filament. I was thinking about getting a resin printer eventually. Now that I have space here, I can put it in one of the back rooms so I don't stink up the entire shop. Yep, humidity can be an issue, definitely. So yeah, I actually bag all my filament. So right now it's not humid, it's winter here. So I do have some basic stuff that's not. But yeah, I have these bags that I vacuum seal. You know, throw in a desiccant and vacuum seal it. What did I say about filament? Just that I keep it bagged up, vacuum sealed with desiccant in. Yeah, I've got Creality dryer for my TPU. Yeah. Yeah, filament is very hygroscopic, so it absorbs moisture, and then it gets brittle. You think it would get, you know, soggy, but it doesn't. This maple is really pretty. Well, this one's got a little vibration in it. I know I said I was going to save these to use them for something else, but I can't help myself. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me, I'll tell you that. Alright, I think we're going to switch up and we're going to start making some just Turkish spindle shafts. We got 4 of them for the cause. Oh, I've got some. You like bird's eye? I got some bird's eye. Yeah. Hopefully I still have some. You know, my piece is a little scattered. I have some really nice bird's eye. Don't know what happened to it. Yeah. But then again, yeah, that tiger is just, it's hard to see in this light. Yeah, very quilted. So this is all my tiger maple, and that's all bird's eye. Yeah. So. A little bit of Purple Heart, nothing too. I don't have a ton of really expensive wood. So somebody sent me this wood here, all right? So it's used to make marimbas out of. It's an endangered wood. They grow it on plantations. So yeah, I got one piece of Purple Heart there. And some Purple Heart on the floor. Yeah, we got Purple Heart back there too, and some Paduke and Bowcoat. So yeah, this stuff is endangered. I can't sell it. It's a rosewood, and I can't sell it because it's endangered. Yeah. So I don't know if I should just Ooh. Yeah, we got Purple Heart up here too. And we got some Vera wood. That's a Lingam Vente. It's very, very hard. This is yeah, it's not, they call it Lingam Vente. It's not Lingam Vente. It's from somewhere else. It's Argentinian Lingam Vente, so it's from Argentina. So it's not endangered. And this is some of the Bowcoat. This is more typically what it looks like. This wood is just gorgeous. So yeah, my wood supply is very... Got some ebony over here. Ugh. I have to go through this. Start using this stuff up. Let's go without the vacuum. Yeah. Yeah. There's still another room in the back, and then the room in the front. But yeah, this isn't for YouTube. This is for my business. I guess YouTube adjacent. Yeah, but you know, I was packed in for decades. Yeah, I would just be happy if you two made enough money to pay for the internet. That would make me happy. Oh, wrong color. Oh no. What will we ever do? So, to get rid of permanent marker, so I accidentally put the wrong color line on there, which isn't a big deal. I'm going to take a dry erase marker and draw over the top with the dry erase marker. And now it's gone. So, if you got Sharpie on something non-porous, a little dry erase marker can save your butt. Have I ever done any wood burning artwork? I have. I'm not really into it now, but yeah, I did quite a bit of wood burning in my high school days. Now I just throw things at the laser. Okay, we got quite a bit of vibration there. We should be able to get a 6-inch shaft out of it. Ooh, let's see. That sounded like a sale. And the fact that Vicky went, ooh. What's that? Nice. So we just sold a top whirl with the devil's lettuce on it. Lightweight? Do we have a big one? Hang on one second. No? Have you ever made a giant toothpick? I think I just did. So after this one, we're going to have to go and laser engrave a whirl. Would this count as a giant toothpick? All right. There you go. There's a 6-inch. Um. that would work. All right. Don't really have a great place to set you guys up here, so I guess we'll do this for the time being. All right, sorry. Looks more like a drumstick. It sure does. All right. All right. I'm sorry. Okay. It seems you may have tools sitting all over. Not like me. I usually have all scroll saw here, lathes, and the sharpeners across the way. Yeah. All right. So. So I'm gonna make a whirl. It's not even glued up yet, but yeah, I've made Christmas ornaments already. Yeah, I'm gonna be making a lot up for this year. All right, let's see. I have one computer right here. Yeah, I got a bunch of computers. Her name is Luna. Huh. I don't have... Weird. I will. I'll definitely. I'll at her. So I'm gonna have to come in here and steal the design and then put it on the correct size. I'm sorry, guys. Call that good. All right, let's bring the camera over here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it or not. You should be able to. It should light up. If not, we can bring it up. So we're just gonna do some framing, make sure that it all lines up. All right, I'm going to shrink it just a little bit. I am. All right, so we're going to send it to the printer. Make sure we're in focus. Turn on my exhaust. Yeah, it's hard to see, but it's done. What kind of settings does that fast burn? Actually, I think I'm going to print it again. That's a little bit light. I want it a little bit darker, so we're going to... We're actually going to change the settings right now. So right now it's 70% power, speed of 80. I'm going to jump it up to 100, turn it down to 40. Let's go 50. That's 50 millimeters a second. Power settings. I want to say this is 10 watts. Travel speed is 50 millimeters per second. So this is a galvo laser. So there's a lens on the top, and there's 2 mirrors before the lens, and then it's just going around marking. Where if you get a printer like this one, the power is on a gantry, so that'll move all over the bed here. So this one will cut straight up and down, this one will not. So that's a lot darker. So there we go. I gotta glue that together. So I'm just gonna repeat the job. I'm gonna do another one. So I actually have a foot switch to turn it on and off. The reason for that is this thing's so light that if you hit the button on the side to start it, sometimes it'll shift around a little bit. So they make a foot switch and they make a push button, so you have like a remote. Actually, over here. Okay, and then I am just going to take this one and then go save as. I don't want to get rid of my Mandela pattern. We're going to call it weed. There we go. So what laser did you get? I mean, what kind of program are you using for it? Because these, I'm just using the program that came with the X-Tool stuff. Yeah, so this has 2 different lasers in it. It's got the blue laser, and then it's got a infrared laser as well, using Lightburn. Yeah, I've never played with Lightburn. I've always used the X-Tool program and the Full Spectrum program. You put the material down that you're using, and then they should have a test grid that you can print out that'll do a whole bunch of different settings, and then you can pick out the one that you like the most. Unfortunately, yeah, I've never used Lightburn. I know it's the creme de la creme. These machines will run Lightburn. It's just, they also have quirky, weird things that only work with the program for them. Yeah, so when I label my spindles on the bottom, I put that in there, and then I can put the name and the weight and everything on them. Alright guys, well, I think I'm going to call it a stream. I should probably get some food. So I'd like to thank you guys a lot for hanging out with me, and hey, I can see you again. So have a good one. I'll probably be back on Thursday. So have a great day, guys.